Yeah, okay. Can you hear me? You can. Uh,
Yes, we can hear you.
great, great. You can just write yes, whether you're on here, Obi Meet, or you're on YouTube. We're also on live on YouTube, so you can write yes. And we have just 60 seconds to go. And our guest is right there in the house, Dr. Ibidunni Stephen. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes, Ayodotun Ibidunni. Welcome, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, clearly, sir.
Okay, maybe make it louder, like your voice is sounding as if you are.
Okay, no
Okay,
problem.
yeah.
I
So what
can
do
hear you
you
clearly, sir. I hope it's
great.
louder now, sir.
Fantastic. Want to hear the HOD and
Okay, sir.
the director's voice, not the classroom voice. Okay, I think we are both on YouTube and on Open Meet live. Thank you so much. Because I see my screen, right?
Yes, very clearly. We can see clearly, sir.
Great, 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 great. So we are good to go. Just to share this. For those of our journal for the first time, just this is the outline for series 2.0. Okay, if you don't mind, it's 7 o'clock Nigerian time, and it's my pleasure to, on behalf of my team, to welcome you to this episode 3 of series 2.0 of our African Scholars Mentorship Network. Remember your host, Evan Osabuohien, Professor of Economics and former head of department, and then the founding chair and lead economist at the PECOS institutions and Development Research Center, aka DIaDeRC. And I want to start by first appreciating God for this privilege to lead this movement. I call it movement or network that has become like a movement that is affecting and positively affecting the research and scholarship landscape, not only in Africa but and beyond. When we did the first series 1.0 ahead between May and July 2023, we had participants from about 15 African countries and African diaspora. And to the glory of God, this second series 2.0, we started it um, on the 24th of September with episode 1. Basically, each series has 5 episodes, 5 powerful packs episodes. And for the sake of those joining for the first time, we normally hold our, when a series is on, normally hold our meetings or boot camp every second and fourth Sunday of the month by 7 p.m. Lagos time. So we did the first one for this series on the 24th of September, where we look at the introduction and setting the stage for grant proposal writing. That was awesome. Then 2 weeks ago at episode 2, we had the practical insight on grant winning and execution. And thankfully, we had our guest from JPAL Africa by name Claire Hoffmeyer, who gave us, as an insider, to bring the senior program manager at JPAL. She gave us what they look at for as a funding agency, and it was awesome. And in case you miss any of those series, please, uh, they are on YouTube, so you can go to YouTube on my YouTube channel and play it. I encourage you to play it again and go through it. And then, for sake of emphasis, after each episode, we'll have a exercise both for feedback and also for us to know that learning is taking place. So for exercise for episode 1, exercise 1 has been on since that day. If you've not taken it, last time I checked, over 106% have taken it. If you have not taken it, please, I encourage you to do that. And also, episode 2 is also on. Please take a look at it as well. And also, after today's series, there will be exercise 3 for episode 3. So each episode has its own exercise. And like we mentioned on the first day, is that this is one of the ways to be sure that learning is taking place, and one of the evidence that you have gone through the episodes. And it's one of the crucial, vital requirement for giving us certificate of completion. So if you must have certificate at the end of this series, you must have done exercise 1, 2, 3, 4. Go, we should issue that at the episode 5, which is networking and experience sharing. So having gone through this episode, we are now at episode 3 today, the 22nd day of October 2023, and we're looking at this very crucial topic, insider's perspective on publishing in reputable outlets. And I'm happy to now that we have our guest right in the house. After this introductory remark, we just jump on and go with us. So by way of today's outline, this is what we're running with. So I'm giving this opening welcome remarks, and I will shortly now introduce the guest speaker who takes us through this wonderful sale by looking at his presentation, and after we'll take some questions, and I will follow up as the coordinator for another 25 minutes, and then we'll now do another round of Q&A and the closing remark. But while we are on, please feel free to write your questions, your remarks, both on OB Meet using Note, or if you're on YouTube, write the comments, your question on YouTube. Very important. And with that, we are good to go. So just to, again, part of the remark is that, I want to make sure that I'm very pleased. If you are following our Telegram and our WhatsApp group platform, we have created the collaborative subgroups, 7 of them altogether. And I'm so happy that some groups have taken a very wonderful initiative. One, having their own group leader, and then 2, already starting their own collaboration. In fact, I learned that yesterday a team had a meeting on their own. But that is one of the, if you ask me, it's one of the mission accomplished for me, particularly that it can collaborate with the platform created, even without my involvement, which is very crucial. Just to remark that I remember we're going from Ramat to Casablanca in Morocco in July, and somebody, a friend from Ghana, was asking me, Prof Evans, why are you burdening yourself with all of this training? What is your end goal? And my question was, my response to his question was very straightforward, that my goal is to see more of me in many African scholars. In other words, replicate myself in many others. So, and we can only do that by active collaboration, active network. And this work I did one of my longest mentees, Karakara, we call it a mentorship nurture cycle. It's a very short, if you like, call it opinion paper. And we have these 3 key elements, which I want to emphasize, is that in an effective mentorship process, whether as a formal mentorship with your supervisor or informal one like we're doing now, the need to maintain honesty and integrity remains the foundation. So as much as we can, your team, be collaborate with them honestly. If a meeting is scheduled, you try and be there. If you can't be there, let the leader know that I won't be there for obvious reasons. But being there and not being there, you're not helping yourself, and you're not also helping the team. So another focus I will mention that in any mentorship that we work, the mentee should take the captain seat. In other words, the mentee is the captain, while the mentor is just the co-pilot. Ours is to give you the platform and tell you what to do. Okay, whatever we are doing in all of the episodes so far, we probably tell you this is how to do it. We cannot do it for you. So you are the mentee, the one that will take the seat of the captain while we go as the co-pilot. So in your team, you have team leaders, and thankfully we are also assigned at least 2 direct team members in each of those teams to provide oversight. And then there should be also be needs. I think somebody was asking me, at what point did they start? I said, we'll start now. And I think the next, between now and December, we should be to evaluate ourselves. So there will be kind of frequent evaluations and progress reports. And I want to just happily report that between our series 1.0 that ended in July, those other team, that series 1.0, I'm happy to announce that a team has gone very far. They've been able to produce, I think, 2 proposal writing submission, and also they have to submit 2 conference papers that have been accepted. The one in Ethiopia, one in Ghana, which is for me a very rapid progress that has been made. So we want to expect that this other series 2.0 will make much more progress now that we have this kind of collaborative team supporting what we are doing. And another one unique part of this African Scholar Mentorship Network is that we're not just, it's not just like a workshop, it's not a workshop, it's not a conference, it's not a seminar, because it's a network that after the training we still continue with the process of follow-up. That's why we have the if you're on our WhatsApp group, we have now the African Scholars community. So each of the 7 groups are in that community. We can see the progress. Same for the Telegram group. So it's not just that you train you and get certificate and you go away. So we are after your progress. And I want to also report that among the team we trained last year, I'll be having some testimonies. In fact, somebody sent me a message from another country, I think Cameroon, that she submitted papers and she will be going for an international conference, I think in Ghana and also Senegal. And I said, Professor, this is my first time to travel outside my country since I've been in career. For me, that was like a whole lot of testimony. Another one also traveling to South Africa. And these are all fully funded, all expenses paid conference and workshops, for which is, for me is a grant of itself, because a grant is like money and support given to you to do achieve a goal. So this person was winning their own grant in that level, and we want to see more of such testimonies, which is one of the reasons that we are here today. Okay, now having given all this background and remark, I want to quickly welcome our guest speaker before I call him to take the stage. Let's know who is this handsome young man by name Ayodotun Stephen Ibidunni. The profile is very encompassing, but I'll just have some bullet points here. Is that Dr. Ayodotun Stephen Ibidunni is senior lecturer and head of department, business administration at Christian University, Nigeria. He has research focus in strategic management, operations management, and entrepreneurship, particularly in developing countries. He has published more than 130 articles in journals, book chapters, and conferences. He's a recipient of many local and international awards. That won't fail me to list all of them. His works have been published in reputable outlets such as this AGEMS, African Journal of Economic and Management Studies. If I am aware of this, because I think I did the guest editor for that. And JAB is a Journal of African Business. These are all Q1 journals, and also Managerial and Decision Economies, as well as a Journal of Workplace Learning, among many others. Also, he's a editorial board member and a reviewer for many international journals and conferences. Furthermore, he's the pioneer director of the International Center for Policy Research and Industry Linkages, ISPRI for short, that focuses on bridging the gap between industry and academia. So he will take us through, because being a board member of a journal and also a reviewer, so we can now hear him talk to us on insiders' perspective on publishing in reputable outlets. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't mind, please join me, clap your hands as welcome this noble son of Africa to take us through this research titled on publishing on global outlets. Yeah, I think your slide should be on now, Dr. Stephen Ibidunni. You have
Yes, I can see it, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prof. Good evening, sir. And
Good evening,
evening, everyone. I want
evening,
to
sir.
believe that Prof will not bash me again. My voice is loud and clear this time.
Yeah, loud and clear, very loud and clear. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I'm so happy to be with us. Permit me, I think I have Prof's consent to just mute my video so that the network is...
Yes, please, go ahead. Yeah. Oh, I've seen your
Okay.
pictures. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Again, good evening, everyone. I'm happy to be with us. It's a very, very rare privilege, and I do not take it for granted at all to be honored being invited by Professor Evans Osabuohien for this presentation. Professor Evans is a frontline mentor to me in my academic career, and I will tell you a few things when I get to the point of mentorship and collaboration, which is a quick part of this presentation about why I started to follow Professor Evans. It was a very deliberate decision for me, and I thank God because it has paid off very well. And so we'll talk a little about that. But let's go straight to point and let's hit the nail on the head on the insider's perspective to publishing in reputable journals. The presentation focus will be 5. First, I will identify what high impact journal, or you call it reputable journals, all right? We are good to go with whichever name we use, requires to get published. What exactly are they looking for? And then deciding on the best fit journal for your paper. Again, we'll talk about that. Number 3, we'll talk about preparing your paper for publishing in reputable outlets. And then number 4, understanding the review process. This is where a lot of persons, get very uneasy about, but then we need to learn some level of patience, and we need to also learn when to talk and when not to talk, what tone of language to use, and all of those things are very, very important at this stage. And then number 5, collaborating for publishing and even beyond publishing. Let's move to the next slide, please. Identify what's high impact journals required to get published. Okay, let's move. So why exactly are we emphasizing publishing in reputable journals? Because it's very simplistic to say, get your paper published. But why are we particular about reputable journals? Just a few reasons. Number 1, you want to avoid predatory publishing. Later down the line of this presentation, I will do a little presentation about predatory publishing. You do not want to be there. All right, we just finished the conference and very happy that Professor Evans was there for one of our presentations, and he said that there are certain of his papers that he published earlier in his career that he has removed them from his CV. And it's the same story with some of us too, because there are certain papers that, to be candid with you, I cannot surface, because the truth is those papers were just maybe used as a starting point for you, but you've discovered that those journals are not things that you want anybody to identify you with anymore. All right, because they are predatory in nature. You didn't know us at that time, but the point is you just had to fly on it. There are certain mistakes that you don't want people to repeat. Predatory publishing, you don't want others to be there. Number 2, you want to avoid wasted efforts. Sometimes you have very good papers and you just find out that they are
I'm sorry, sir. Can you share the screen?
The
Hello?
screen is on. Please go ahead.
Okay.
If you have anything, please just write on the comments. Don't talk either on our YouTube channel or on the Meet or on our WhatsApp group. We will respond to you, so you don't interrupt the guests. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Prof. So, I sometimes we are reading certain papers and you find how interesting this paper can be, and the outlets where it is being published, and you are wondering, oh my God, this person could have done more with this paper. So you don't want wasted effort, really. All right. Then number 3, you want to improve your chances of research visibility. Truth is, reputable outlets always stand a better chance of gaining citation. I'm not saying that it is not possible to publish in some lower level, let me use that language in quotes, please, lower level journals and not enjoy a whole lot of citation. It's very possible. But the truth is that there's a network around reputable publishing. And the more you fall into that network, the better for your career, the better for you, because you will enjoy higher levels of reputation, both for your career and for your publishing work, for your published works. Then number 4, you want to make yourself known in the highly profiled research community. I've spoken a little about that. I have received a lot of calls as keynote speaker, as different level of speaker in different engagement. In fact, I received a call to come and be a part of the grant team just because somebody mentioned my name to another professor, and the professor went up to check me online and he said, this is the kind of person we want on this grant team. All right. So you want to bring yourself into that kind of level. People have just made calls because they said, we checked your profile online and we believe that you will be good enough to speak to this issue that we are in. So many times we do not apply. I'm an associate editor on an ABS journal, which is also on Scopus and is on Web of Science. And the way I became associate editor was that somebody mentioned my name. The editor-in-chief is a Brazilian journal, RAE, went online to check my profile, and he said, look, we need to run an interview with you. And he confessed to me before we did the interview. It was an interview of let it not be as if we didn't run interview. That was the kind of interview we did, because there was a formal call for associate editors. I didn't even see the call. I just received the email from the guest editor, and he said, look, I checked the online and I found out that you will be good. And we had a chat session for about 20 minutes. He said, please, we need you on this journal. And that was how, it came in. So really, the way where you publish determines who is seeing you and who is calling you. Then again, lastly, you want to improve your chances of employability, global employability. Now, for example, you could receive. Let me just share this quick one with you. Somebody called me from South Africa to say, please, we want you to be what's that word they use in South Africa? An extraordinary researcher. An extraordinary researcher for our university. And all of those things came in because the person simply said, we went online, we found you online. And then so all these things work. You want to improve your chances of employability. Let's move to the next slide, please. So what makes an high impact or reputable journal? Well, journals are that are highly cited in the scholarly community, especially by other highly cited journals. I'll give you an example. They always have a click. Let me use that language. All right. They always have a click. It's always the case that when you are going to publish in a reputable journal, it is always better that you are citing papers from reputable journals, because the moment you submit your paper, one of the things that the editor or the associate editor looks at is, of course, they look at your title. Does it fall within the scope of whatever they are looking for as the journal? They look at the abstract. Sometimes they jump very quickly to look at your references. What kind of journals are you citing in your work? Because the references will tell them that. And then when they find that so many of your cited works are not in co-reputable journals, it's a very easy thing to reject your paper. That's the truth. All right. They just find some kind of excuse, and they make you happy by saying, yeah, beautiful work. But sorry, at this time, we may not be able to move your paper further. All right. And we are wishing you the very best in the future. And then sometimes you are very happy to say, well, they didn't say anything bad. Of course, they try to make you happy so that, it's not. So the truth is, these things, all right, always come around because there's a reputation they are trying to protect. What you read determines what you write. Where you are reading determines your mentality. All right. And your mentality will influence your writing. So it is believed that once you are not reading from a reputable source, we really cannot spend so much time reading what you have written, because we cannot guarantee that we'll find the very best in your works. All right. And that's something that is very important for you to know. All right. The journal citation report by Clarivate is probably about the earliest found computerization for computing journal citation reports. Well, I'm not going to bore you with all of these. We'll just move on. But that something to note about them is that citation thing I have mentioned to you. Then journals belong to a publishing family. All right. They are associated with one or two databases. And we've got a number of these databases that determines reputation or impact. Again, these things can vary from country to country, and at other times, it can vary from region, all right, to region. And then again, at other times, it can vary from discipline to discipline. All right. So we have the CABS, which is Association of Business Schools. You get to the UK. Some US universities also use this. All right. So ABS, some European universities also adopt this. Then the ABDC, Australian Business Deans Council, that will be found in Australia. Sometimes in some Asian countries, they also adopt it, but Asian countries mostly adopt Scopus. All right. Asian countries, you find a lot of Scopus presence there. Then you have the Web of Science, that's the Thomson Reuters Web of Science, and EBSCO, Medline, and PubMed for those in the public medical sciences, medical lab sciences, and all of those. All right, you find PubMed, Medline, and all of those. So there's also Google Scholar and there's Scopus. All of these are different levels of indexation. A lot of us are probably very familiar with Google Scholar.
Go on. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, Steve, are you still there?
You're not getting anything again.
Is Mark is still on? Perhaps there's
Okay.
you can hear me. Maybe his mic is those. But can you hear me from my own side?
Yes, I can hear you, ma'am.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, you can see my screen. Can you sharing the screen?
Hear you, Prof. You can hear you.
Okay. Perhaps there's let me just call him on the phone. But his mic is still on. I wonder why he's not there.
Probably
Yes,
his
yes,
network.
Yeah, it's possible. Although he's training some parts. Let me check him up. Stephen Ibidunni.
Hey, am I back now?
Yes.
Okay, back, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, sorry. Go on, sir. Your mic is on. I wonder why you cannot hear us. There should be network on his end. This is the. Hello, Steve. Can you see us? We can't hear you again. I think he's having issue with his network. Okay. Refresh. See, trying to reconnect. Let's be using the chat to write our comments, our questions, so that we can save time. But I think he's back now. His mic is on. Back.
Yes. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, we had a very heavy rainfall here this evening, just few minutes to the start of the meeting. I guess it's affecting my router.
Yeah, but okay, I'm not sorry. Well, rain is good, so thank God.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we'll keep giving God praise for rain.
Thank you, sir.
So,
Yeah.
yes, I'm saying number one, you have to be very deliberate about publishing. Okay, you have to be intentional about publishing for impact. If you are going to publish for impact, there's something I have to say, right? If you are thinking of a research topic and your research work, I usually say there's going to be a big problem. Having that skill too. All right, because you really want to be clear about what exactly you are trying to say, what exactly you are trying to communicate, and then you want to be clear about the kind of journal that you want to get your work published in. It's very, very simple to get it's very simple to write a paper in a day. And in fact, it's very simple to write 8 papers in a week. It's very simple, depending on where you want to publish. But I'm telling you that if you are going to publish for impact, you need some level of effort, mental energy, and all of it. And it's achievable. If anybody is achieving it, then you should believe that you can achieve it. That's very important. So it's a mindset, and it also demands believing in yourself that you can achieve it. Okay? And then you just put in that skill of intentionality. Look at examples of
Yeah, I think it's network actually challenging. But still on. Go on, sir. Again, why is it coming back? Let's keep our question coming on the question comments, both on the YouTube comment or on the yes, on the OBMeet platform. Okay. Stephen, are you still there?
okay,
Yeah,
so
go on, sir. Yes, I don't know. Short while ago.
sorry. So, and
Yeah,
then
go.
number 2, clearly define your research area and develop intellectual capacity there. You want to be clear about what exact areas you love to research on. And you want to start reading articles in that area of research so that you become you gain some level of mastery in that area. Very important for you in research. All right. When you find somebody who is writing HR today, tomorrow he jumps into operations, next tomorrow in entrepreneurship, and then the next time he's in organizational behavior, then he jumps into household economy, then he jumps into large scale farming. And then you are wondering, okay, so when you are going to be a professor in what exactly? All right. And you discover that that kind of person is just all over the place and has no mastery in a specific thing. All right. And that's really not good for your profile. Multidisciplinary is good, but you discover that even people that are in interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, also have a scope that really defines their focus, and they work with other persons within that scope to develop themselves. Number 3, intentionally focus on employability, not employment opportunity. This is very important. This is a statement I got in 2019, and it changed my entire life forever. All right. Intentionally focus on employability. Make yourself a star instead of looking for the star to go on. That's very important for you. Employment opportunity means you are looking for a star job. Employability means that you become a star, and then people will start calling you and referencing you and looking for you. That's very important. Number 4, mentorship and collaboration can never, ever be put away nor downplayed if you are going to publish for impact. It's very important. Remember that whatever you are trying to achieve, somebody has achieved it. So why not look for those people that have achieved it and are ready to listen to you? Some persons will turn down your emails. Mine, I send out loads and loads of emails every week, continuing to expand my collaboration and my mentorship days. Some persons will not answer you, some persons will turn you down, some persons will open up to you. I can guarantee you that very, very few persons, very minute few number will open up to you. All right. But then you just need to keep pushing. Number 5, attend workshops and conferences that add value. Because really not every workshop or conference, especially conferences, not every conference has. Some conferences are just how to make money. You know, somebody shared with me that he sent a paper with some of 5 of his project PhD students to a conference. I won't mention the name of the country, please. And you know, there was no review. No, they just got his 3 days to the conference. They got acceptance. Please pay.
Okay. Go on, sir. Yeah, go on, sir. I think your network is here. Hello, Stephen. Can you see us? You are now muted. Go on. Okay. Your mic is back. Go on, sir. Okay, can you hear me? I want to be sure where it's coming from, whether it's own network or my network. But I think we can. We are still live on YouTube, so that should be his network. Yeah.
We can hear you, Prof.
Yeah, I think it's network. Like you said, it's raining in his area very heavily. But why is he trying to come back? Let's keep the comment coming on the notes on OpenMeet, or if you are in YouTube, put on the comment section on YouTube. My team members are watching out for them. Okay, Steve, please continue so we can go to Q&A after this session. Yeah, go on, sir.
Okay, sir. So let's go to like please.
Yes, can you talk louder? We can hear you, but it's a bit faint.
Okay, I'm saying let's move to the next slide, please.
Great, thank you, sir.
Slide, please. Yeah, thanks, sir.
Here now, yeah.
Okay, I'm still waiting for the next slide to come.
Is there? We're now deciding on the best fit journal for your paper when? Slide 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
It means my network is from here. So
yeah.
Deciding on the best fit journal. So I shared some links earlier with you. You can look at those links, and those links can be a good guide in helping you to find resourceful materials from impact journals that will be helpful to you. I don't know if it's only me, but the slide I'm still seeing on my screen is basic nuggets.
That should be your own. I'm deciding. We're deciding, but if you want me to go to basic nugget, yeah, we are now. We're now in slide. We're left Scopus, Web of Science, just to slide 9. We're now in slide 10, deciding best journal fit for your paper when you want to go for. Yeah, that's slide 10.
Okay, so I'll just flow. Okay, so I'll just flow with you then. I think the network is running from my side. So let's continue. Deciding on best fits journal for your paper. You want to identify the right fit journal to get your papers published at either of 3 stages. Number 1, it's either you want to do that before you start your research paper, all right? And if I do a lot of that anyway, because if you want to decide before you start your paper or at the start of your paper, that means you are saying this paper I am developing must be published in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 alternative journals. And you want to now go and download sample paper that will guide you into publishing in those outlets. And that's a lot of times truly can be very, very beneficial to you. All right. Or you want to decide during the period of its execution.
Yeah, I think your network is actually having. Okay.
Can you
Go
hear
on.
me?
Yes, now you're back again. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so maybe during such execution process, you want to put a good.
Okay. If you can, we just go to have header. Let's go to slide 11. If you can see my screen. But if I think I don't know, you can refresh, but from what I'm seeing, your mic is on, and I think the network is. But again, sorry everyone. Let's keep our comments write our comments on the net on the chat box. I think, or maybe I should take my session now and then allow Stephen to refresh and come back. That would be better for us. Stephen, just try and refresh your browser, and if possible, restart your router if that will help out a little bit. While you're in that, because now your mic is no longer on, so we can't hear you. I just suggest just restart your router, and then we come back from slide 11. While you are doing that, let me just give my short so we can buy time and we can open up together. So let me just buy time with that. I've talked about it. I think that's okay with just everyone. Can you hear me? Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you from Adoekiti. We can hear
Oh,
you.
thank you so much. So we are sorry about the little hitch from Abeokuta. There's a heavy downpour at Abeokuta. I know rain is good for farmers, so can't complain about rain. So,
It's okay.
why is that? Why is that to restart his router? Maybe that will help
Okay.
us out. So I'll just come in a little bit to take my own point and complement what is said so far. I don't want to
It's okay,
repeat what
sir.
he has said. So why is we're doing that? Please keep your comment coming and keep them coming as we go. But if you can see my screen, I'm taking my this slide 6 of my screen, part 2 outline. So each one is part 1, mine is part 2. Can you see my screen? Please confirm if what I'm seeing is what you are seeing.
Yes, sir.
I can see part 2
I can see part 2.
Introduction, starting with the principles.
Go, sir.
Yes, yeah, great. Why should I even publish? And then Stephen said that. So I'll just I will just spend time on examples. Examples are one way to communicate principles. So basically, there is thing I learned from Codestra many years ago. In 2007, that happened to be my very first international conference in my academic career. It was a really fully funded research funded by Codestra that happened in the little town called Mukono in Uganda. And that changed my life altogether. Elisa said, why do you need to publish? It's kind of, we've got the unique principles of publishing. Why publishing, but why don't you publish? Or what do you need to know when publishing? So these 5 points will help us. One is that you must have something to say. Okay, you must have something to say. So in other words, there's something in your mind that you want to communicate to the public. You want to communicate to the research community. You want to communicate to your world. And this is very important. This like this will for your passion. In other words, so even if you face rejection, you still want to be heard. That this thing I want to communicate is important and I must be heard. So that keeps you going. That's about the research title of your work. Okay, and then 2, one I said is have something to say. Number 2 is that okay, having something to say is not enough. You must tell us, you must say why you should say it. Tell us why is it important that what you want to say is worth saying. In other words, what is the relevance or justification or the gap you are bringing on board. The first one I say you have something to say. We talk about your title. And the 2 is that you must tell us why you should say what you want to say. In other words, why is what you are saying important? Why is your research important? Why do you want to communicate that to community, to the world? What's about it? Then number 3, we'll see here. So having what to say is important. Saying what you must say is important. Then the most crucial one, number 3, is that you have to choose the best way to say it. Okay, somebody say, like if you're in a mass communication or English or languages, there are many ways you can say a thing. You don't have to shout. That have what we call a verbal and non-verbal communication. In other words, if you have what to say, you have told us why you want to say it. Now, what is the best approach to say it? What's the language are you using to say it? Okay, in other words, that talks about what is the methodology, the materials, or the approach you want to use to approach your research. Okay, so each other moment student asked me which method should I use. I said that should not be a certain point. Starting point that having what to say is important. Say what you want to say, what you want to say is important, and then because of that, you now know which best approach. Am I going the way of qualitative research? Am I going the way of quantitative research? Even within the context of quantitative or qualitative, which of the methodology in there is important, and tell us why that is best fit for your work. Then number 4 points, you now say it. You have what to say. You have told us why you must say it. You are choosing how to say it. Now say it. In other words, discuss your work. Discuss the content. Most research I've seen, where one of the common mistakes people make is that they will spend time analysis, but we spend little time discussing the context of the analysis. Okay. In other words, having your results is one important, whether they're qualitative or quantitative. Now you need to discuss it. What is the relevance? What is the essence of it? Which would they call it? And so what? And so what? You have found that there's no significant difference. There's no significant impact on the first subsidy removal, for example, on the household income. Then what does that mean? And so what? So that is what discussing in the context of that work. And then after you have done that, just keep quiet. Conclude briskly, sharp. What is the most time I want to review as editor, also as a reviewer. So people, after they have done the whole work, at the level of a conclusion, they are still going back again to introduction to no. Just tell us 2-3 paragraphs are enough to conclude. What is the key message from that work? What would be the key thing that somebody is taking away from that work? That is what you have to do. So in summary, these are the 5 principles or pillars in scholarly writing. 1, have what to say. 2, say why you should say it. 3, choose the best way to say it. And 4, say it. And then 5, keep quiet. Okay. So these are what will help us in terms of demolishing in your research. And then when you write, because again, when you write, like I said here, when you write, you are able to communicate to the unborn audience. There are people that will read your work even after now. But if you don't write it out, nobody will know that there was a time like this that this thing existed. So as much as you can, if you look at history, we are told that Africa was known as the black continent because most of our forefathers, they were in oral communication. They didn't document most of their knowledge. Okay, if they have done, would have been far than this. So it's better important to ensure that we communicate. Okay, so that's why some of the guiding principles why we write or publish. Then other points that I think Stephen mentioned it just now on the issue of should you mind your discipline, whether you are coming from the angle of multidisciplinary research or cross-disciplinary research or interdisciplinary research, should you mind your discipline? Where it depends. Although there is the issue of multidisciplinary nature, interdisciplinary nature, transdisciplinary nature, or there is a college, but it's essential to say if they say Evans or Osabuohien, what should come to the mind of most people who read your work. Okay, for example, there are some names you call. This is the area of research. Okay, those of us read most of my work, you always see a line of thought between international research, international economics, as well as institutional economics. Whether I apply it to agricultural research or apply it to trade research, it's always a connecting rod, what I call IIE, international and institutional economics. So it's always very important to as you grow over the years, let there be a link to your research process, and that will make you to know, to be known. I think Stephen has said that a lot in his why you publish for impact. I did mention that it makes you becoming the abilities of looking for employment opportunity. I remember last year, November, I was invited by a school in Wageningen in the Netherlands. What was the reason? They saw my work on the area of food security and agriculture, and they're having a workshop and said, please, we know you are busy, but we'll be happy if you can join us in this workshop. And they funded everything, including the cost of my renewal of my passport. Everything was funded because they saw such a research I published on that, and they were following up on having a book on that research. So it's very important to ensure that you maintain your uniqueness as you write. Let's know that when you tell someone like Okafor Victoria, we know this, she's into financial development, financial inclusion. Okay, of course the issue of timing matters a lot. This one, that is, Stephen has also said that you can take some time, but it's good to write one paper that becomes valuable than write 10 paper that may not be valuable later on. Okay, I just said okay, should you mind your discipline? I said that earlier, the whether you are going for the way of a quantitative, you are going the way of a qualitative, or you are going the way of a mixed method. Each discipline have their own approaches, but it's better to try to match all of them in one paper may be very difficult. So for example, there are some research like someone like Ofwa, who is very good in the quantitative research. Most of the research, whether he's doing research on the household, he engages more of quantitative research, focus group discussion, interviews, and workshop, all of that. But some others like us focus more on the quantitative. Each of them approach on their own merit. So no one's much more important than the others. But what matters is that being able to explain why that your chosen approach is important in communicating your ideas is what matters. Now, okay, then this is very important again. Why should I even publish? I think I don't want to spend time here. Stephen has mentioned that earlier. For me, I see writing, one, I can call it as a hobby. But this is what, if hobby is what you do, what you enjoy doing. So as a researcher, you have there is a word that Woloshika said that writing is like a kind of melody in your soul. Okay, it's a kind of internal melody in your soul that you want as you write. There's a kind of internal melody, what the economists would call it, intrinsic utility. You enjoy as you do it. So if you take it that way, it will help you to contend with the issue of rejection, contend with the issue of time management in research, contend with the issue of continuity and persistence. And the two is that you can also take it as an assignment or call it, because as a researcher, for example, I think I've just been appointed as a member, as the executive council of Nigerian Economic Society, as one of the actual editors. We were having a meeting last week with the new ESCO. I always say that is how we need to, as an economist in the country, how we need to make our voice to be known, and much more than we have done this year. In other words, we are taking it as a call that, as an economist, it's our duty to communicate economic matters in the nation, and not leaving it for journalists who may have little or no economic principle to communicate, matching their principles with the reality. So when we publish, you have the opportunity to teach even unseen audience and even forthcoming generations. So of course, Stephen has taken the issue of contribution, promotion, recognition, and being part of a scientific community. Okay. And like I said earlier, please, if you have questions, please keep them coming on the chat so that we can take them along. And I just want to rush my own, and then I'll go back to Stephen. I think by now his router should have been up. Okay, so this is from MRAD. Once served as the editor for the African Journal of Economics and Management Studies in 2020, and this is one of the things they put on as some of the reasons why publishing is important. Okay, for career development, it's required by most institutions, but the academic balance said they call it publish or perish. But in my own, we have told that I was trying to become a publish and prosper. Okay, I know it's not about publish or perish, but you can publish and prosper. You can be, like Simi just said earlier, you can be called to join the grant team. You can be called to serve as a keynote speaker, and you can be paid some foreign currency, either dollars or euros. Okay, for that. Then it's also helped to improve your research work, and then much more to gain approval for a special matter that when an area officer is being called, agricultural economist, your name comes on because you are published in the area. and then help to contribute to knowledge in your area. Most to gain reputation recognition and enhance your network. And so what I said clearly that that your network is a key function to influence your net worth. Okay, so there is a pyramid that started developing in 2020 in the heat of COVID-19 when I gave that a research. I call it a research academic impact pyramid. Please, if you forget anything today for today's lesson, please don't forget this one. Okay, it's right there online. This is the link. I saw also on my website. So as a researcher, where you are now is a good place to start. Whether you are publishing anything before, you are just starting research. In that case, you need to what I call engagement, what I call the knowledge consumption. You need to read more to consume knowledge. And as you consume knowledge, you need to enjoy what I call academic adaptability. You need to know which, all this one I'm reading, which of the area appeals more to your soul, which area is very inviting to you. So you need to know where you want to belong, okay, at that level. Then you move on to in the ladder of knowledge, you go to what I call the knowledge production. In this case, you want to be start writing, to start publishing, okay, and that will help to go get what I call a research or academic visibility. As you publish, as you write, people begin to know you small in that area. You'll be to enjoy academic visibility by having a knowledge production. And then you move on to up the ladder to what I call a knowledge moderation. Okay, that can lead to what I call a academic or research stability or integrity. And at this point, you begin to receive invitation to serve as reviewer. So I know we are busy, but most time when you receive invitation for most when you receive invitation for to be a reviewer, it means that somebody has started seeing your work. They want you to now contribute to moderation. That this work is in your area, please, if you don't mind, spend some time to review it. So you review, you are now beginning to moderate what people are writing. Okay, you're able to control what they're writing by what I call a knowledge moderation. And if you can stay here for some time, gain strength. Now, I want to mention that the timing for each of those levels it depends on you. Okay, so you cannot be to enjoy knowledge moderation and then you enjoy academic studies. So at this point, you are choosing your area you want to measure on, where you want to be known, and then you begin to now go to level I call the knowledge stimulation. At this level, you need to define what others write. You need to submit proposal for panel discussion, proposal for conference to host conferences, some proposal to host a special issue, to publish book or edit a book. So you're the one who is not defining what others should contribute. You're the one that is stimulating knowledge. And at that level, you begin to move to the level I call academic or research immortality. At that level, you are being known for that. When you call somebody in that area, your name keeps coming because you have enjoyed knowledge stimulation and then giving you what I call a research or academic immortality, which is what all of us want to go. So again, I said the time spent on each of those levels depend on you. So whether you are coming first time or not, you can start from anywhere. Start from consumption, enjoy adaptability, move to production, enjoy visibility, move to moderation, just stability, and then move to finally knowledge stimulation, where you enjoy the academic or research immortality. Okay, now at least even I spent some time here on how do I choose my publishing outlet. Most journal, most big time publishers like Acivia, Emerald, Certain Springer, they have their own online journal too. So if you click this line, you just they tell you put your title and abstract. As you do that, it will automatically give you a range of journals in their system that work can fit in. So you can use that as a way to choose your outlet. Then second, I didn't Stephen was talking about you can decide either at the beginning of the research, at the middle, or at the end. Okay, personally, I normally wait towards the end of the research and even at the end, because at the end you should have gone through the research. You should have, when you check your references, that will give an idea to the outlet that you have referenced. And in most cases, if you check those references you have referenced, you can look at the journals you have cited and then look at what they want, whether your paper can fit in. Because if you have referenced journal from there, it's most likely that your work has close interface with the journal. And then when your work, when you send the journal to your, when you send the paper to the journal you have referenced, it's a sure way to tell the editor that you know their journal format. For what I discovered my editor-in-chief for Nigerian Journal of Economic Issues. So this ingest, which is published by NES, Nigerian Economic Society, actually my editor that one we should be to see a way that we encourage our authors to start our journals. One way we are to make it to be sure that they know the formatting style of our journal, because most papers that we are reviewing recently, the formatting is quite here and there. But when they have read our previous journals, our previous articles, you should be able to see how our journals are structured. So looking at your references is one way to know your outlet. Then two, you can ask your colleagues and mentors. I think that is why this platform provides, this African Scholars Meditation Network provides. And thankfully, we have 7 sub teams, so you can, and each team has a leader, so you can be able to ask your team members or team leaders which of the journals you want to work. They can also guide you through. And then you can also be able to respond to calls for special issue, for little book, and this one I think we share a number of that on our platforms. So look at that for that. It's already defined. So if your work can fit in, you just look at the core and fit in. Otherwise, you can also look at your institutional preferences, like some school look at the journals, scope of the journal, so you can save that in journal, or that Web of Science. I think Stephen has given us all of that ABS gel. Okay, so next one to look on was it. So where do I publish? Okay, whether the number here and there, but the point I think I've said all of that. That look at the journal outlet, because like I say, it's not good to waste an effort because you're publishing in a journal. Just like Steve mentioned, I was in a conference just this week Thursday. I told them about there are a number of journals articles are published that I cannot even put on my CV because I'm not so pleased with them. Okay, so what is getting published is okay, but she will get it published that when you see it tomorrow, you'll be happy with yourself. Okay, so I don't want to repeat what Stephen has said. Now, this other question I want to say: how do I deal with rejection? I think many people ask this question a lot. And somebody said, somebody was saying, I think it was when we did the series 1.0, Stephen, Dr. Professor Songo that we had our guest was saying that he has a threshold of 20 until his paper is rejected by 20 times, he does not give up. And I normally tell my colleague, I remember the case between, if you know the Bible a little bit, between the case between Jesus Christ and Peter. He said, how many times will my brother offend me for me to publish 70 times? He says 70 times 7. So I not to the last threshold until the paper is for me personally, until the paper is rejected 70 times, I do not give up. Well, remember what you said, you must have what to say. So accept what I want to say is no longer important. But if you say important, I will keep pushing. And then two, remember that no every every person who is an academic researcher or not, everyone has one time or the other had received rejection or the other. But note that rejections are just the opinion of the reviewers or editors. And you know what? They can be wrong. They are human beings. They are not angels. Okay? Somebody can misunderstood your context. I remember I sent a journal to a paper to a journal, and those of you who know long-term time series research did difference. And the editor said, well, it was just that he was saying D, and when you difference, you put D. He was saying the variable, and in my model, there's no D there. I said, this is just a difference in, means I said, sorry, he apologized at the end, but he has made his choice. So, rejections are the opinion of reviewers or editors. They can be wrong, so that should not discourage you. Okay, and don't give up. Each researcher has received more than dozen rejections. And in this case, I'm only mentioned to the case of Ekelov. Ekelov, he published a book, an article. I think it was titled "The Market for Lemon," and he said it took him about 3 years to get acceptance. But one of the journals he sent it to, he said the reviewer said that when did economics science become so trivial? See, that was the comment. But you know what? After that work came out in 1917, and that work was what won a Nobel laureate in 2001. Okay, the paper that was said to be trivial, but he didn't give up because he wanted to communicate something. How about the issue of choice making, what they call a moral hazard or adverse selection. So you can ask your editor why, and at times you can ask for feedback. Okay, why the paper rejected? So you can, and then you can also ask for rebooter. At time it happened, but at times it doesn't happen. I think there was a recent case, a colleague of mine who's the consulting author of a journal, and after like the paper was reviewed first and second time, so at the third round of review it was rejected. I said, let's not give it, let's write to the rebooter, and he wrote to the rebooter. It's okay, there was a misunderstanding, you should correct and resubmit. Okay, so even if all of that, you can try again and try again. Remember, everybody who's a researcher has received rejection one point or the other, so don't give up on that. Okay, so this one again, you can try again and try again. Read the reviewers' comments again and again. Look at what they said. If it's important, or you can the one you can change, you can change. The one you cannot change, that you think is not important, you can move ahead to upgrade the paper. Then get more citations, get more current paper articles of site, and then submit elsewhere. Okay, and then even after that, you repeat again and again and again and again until it gets out, because I say you have something to say and you know what you must say. So you keep saying it until it gets through. Okay, now this one is also important. Issue of introduction, I said earlier. I think let me pause for some time now. Why I come back to this one at the end of the. I think I just take it now. I think if you want to start when you are good, you will never start. So in other words, don't wait until you are good to start. You can start now. Okay. Why it is better to send your manuscript and it's rejected than leave it kept in your shelf or on your laptop. So let's send out get comment, get it rejected, and then try again. So you keep trying and keep moving. Some have a threshold of paper of 7 times. Some have more than 70 times. Okay. So thanks so much. I'll look at the comment now. Why I check on Stephen Ibidunni whether he's back to us. ST, are you back to us now? So you can finish
Yes,
your
yes,
yeah.
Prof. Yes.
So I think we are here now for yeah,
I
thank you.
have
You're
to
right.
fly on my Glow network, hoping that Glow would be more stable.
Okay, now they're back. Thanks so much. Okay. So
Thank you so
fire on.
much. I've been
Yes.
enjoying your presentation actually.
Okay, so let's try and tidy up. Maybe we can use the next 10 minutes, so we can use the rest 20 minutes for
Yes,
Q&A. Yeah.
yes, I'm really looking forward to the Q&A. So, on deciding the best fit journal, I wouldn't touch many of the things here because you have really done well, sir, by touching a lot of those things. The title coverage, is it within the scope of the journal that you are looking for to submitting your paper into? That's very important. Every journal has a scope, so you want to get on the journal platform to check their scope of coverage. That helps a lot. Then is the journal index in the relevant databases that you may have at the back of your mind. For me, the first choice of databases wherever I submit my journal papers to is CABS. CABS is always number one for me. Number two will be ABDC. And then number three is Web of Science. And then Scopus comes at number four. So I always appreciate when my journal or intended journal to publish in has all these four indexation listed, but then CABS is usually really number one for me. Then number three, does the journal match the community that you want to be visible to? Again, you want to ask yourself. Check again within the journal, you see the communities that really read, from those journals, if they are the kind of people you want. Then number four, what is the journal's publication frequency? Again, that helps you. Some journals publish twice a year, 4 times a year. Some publish on a rolling basis. As your paper is being accepted, it's already coming online first before it is issued with a volume and issuance number. All of those things matter. Then, do you have the competence to comply with the review rigor and intense writing style? Different journals have different writing style. I must please call your attention to that. Different journals have different writing styles. And that's why it's always very important to look at a sample copy of the journal to see how they write, how they communicate. That's very important. And of course, they have different review timelines. I have submitted a paper right now since the beginning of the year, January. and we are in October. I've not gotten the result of the first review. You know, I've had to write the reviewer twice asking what exactly is happening. Yeah, I've received responses from the editor. Sorry, I've had to write the editor. I've received response, but I'm just trying to communicate to you that different journals have different review timelines. Typically, once you submit your paper, after maybe 3 months, thereabouts, sometimes 2 months, you can start asking questions about what is happening. Okay, let's move to the next slide, please. Okay, yep, writing for high impact journal, there's always a standard format that papers should take. Your abstract, your introduction, your literature review. Under your literature review, you want to talk about the theoretical review and how you have developed the hypothesis. I see a lot of papers that lack hypothesis, and then the question will be, what exactly are you testing? Because, and how did you jump to analysis? All of these things are important. Hypotheses have to be developed. Your methodology, how did you come about your sampling? Sometimes you will find the research setting and sampling. All right, so you different journals, different styles. The research setting and data collection, again, you find that sometimes the measures, how did you develop your instrument when you are doing an empirical paper? How did you develop the items in that made up your research instruments? You need to define that, the independent variable, the dependent variable, and whether you have an intervening variable which will be moderating or mediating or both. You know, you need to clearly establish that. Then your control variables, you need to also explain, all right, how you are defining the control variables. Then you move to your results, your discussion. We will want to see theoretical contribution and then the practical or policy contribution, or you call them implications. Sometimes you find that. Then the conclusion and further studies. Again, then lastly, you close with your references. You want to also identify what exact referencing style does the journal comply with. All right, that's again is very important. These days, a lot of journals are beginning to customize referencing, and even if it's APA, it can be, you know, APA within the journal. So you want to be clear about that. Let's move to the next slide, please. So writing in academic high impact journals, I'll just quickly delve into number 2. Familiarize yourself with the literature. That is extremely important. Extremely, extremely, extremely important. Read and read and read the literature on the subject matter. Okay. All those formats I highlighted earlier in the previous slide about different steps, the sections of a paper. The introduction is always extremely important. Your abstract and your introduction. If your introduction is weak, nobody is really interested in going further with your paper. All right. It may just tell us that the person really does not know what he or she is trying to write. So your introduction can take a lot of time. Usually when I'm writing my introduction, I can have different versions of the introduction until I come to the introduction that will make my submission. So I keep deleting and repeating, and so my introduction can start with 40 pages until I streamline those 40 pages into 1.5 or maximum of 2 pages. All right. So nobody is examining you. You are the one examining yourself. And all of these things are coming because you are familiar with the literature. What exactly is a theoretical argument that is backing up the communication you are trying to pass to your audience? So identify the main authors in your topic area. That's extremely important. What are those that are frontline authors? What are the frontline journals in this topic area? You may stand an easier chance of publishing your work in journals that are frontline on that topic because it shows they are interested in it, other than a journal that does not frequently publish on that topic. You know, sometimes it can be very, very difficult to pull through. So you may want to do a content analysis to help you, and this table that has been presented, all right, shows you a content analysis, the paper title, author name, objective, country, the theories that have been adopted, so that you will know what theory you want to use to guide your own work. What were the findings? What are the major contributions? When you get the findings and the major contribution, that can lead you to developing a gap for your own study. The area of reputable journals where you find suggestions for further study, again, can be a pointer to help you derive your own gap that will be explained in your introduction. So all of these things matter. Next slide, please. I'm just trying to move fast so that we get to the Q&A. That's going to help us more. Identify the variables of interest, understand the existing theoretical relationships and practical realities, both in the local economy and globally. Then check for disparities and similarities. Disparity, raise new inquiries, research questions. All right. So these are just trying to help you to come to a point of developing gaps. All right. Then you may want to develop a workable schematic model for your study, because your schematic model, or what you call conceptualization or a conceptual model, all right, helps the reviewers and the editor to simply understand the relationships you are trying to test by a simple diagram. And that simplification can help a lot, all right, to raise the possibilities of accepting your paper or moving it to the next stage. Okay, so next slide, please. Okay, yeah, we can move on. I think I've mentioned all of this in the previous presentation. Understanding the review process, Prof has mentioned the issue of review. Rejection is nothing. Don't count it as a very big thing. And I really appreciate Prof's model, 70 times 7. So let the paper keep rejecting and you just make sure you are self-motivated. That's very, very key. Look, that is extremely key. Be self-motivated. Self-motivation is one of the things that pushed up. Time won't allow me to tell you certain stories and the power of self-motivation. Self-motivation was what pushed me into receiving the Chancellor's Award, myself and my friend Maxwell, in 2018. We just decided to sit down, take our destinies in our hand. When no senior colleague was helping us, our other colleagues were playing politics around us, and then we just took our destinies in our hand, and we were the two that got the award, that year in the entire college. Now, this is extremely important. When you get rejected, Prof was sharing about 7 rejections in a week, but self-motivation was what kept him going. I didn't want to mention to Prof that just a day before we started the conference, I received 2 rejections at the same time, from very top journals. But self-motivation kept us going. Nobody really has time to tell you sorry, and you don't create the time for anybody to tell you sorry. Okay, it helps you a lot. But the review process can be limited by identifying that your paper falls within the scope of the journal, and then you have done a kind of paper that the journal is expecting to receive. At least you will not suffer a desk reject. It goes to review, and then you are hoping that the reviewers will not turn it down and all of those. But rejection is not in any way. You just keep pushing. Let's move on to the next slide. The review process is closely similar to any other well-reviewing journal. Yeah, authors will always be expected to address each review comment made by reviewers. Yeah, let me just highlight on this for 1 minute. Authors need to be extremely careful, please. Sometimes we see the case that reviewers are not paid most of the time. Reviewers are not paid. So if the person is taking his time and his effort to look at your paper, especially when the person is making comments that are germane and genuine to the development of your paper. Look, don't just throw the person's comment anywhere. Nobody paid the person, and probably the person had to squeeze out time to review your paper. The person probably had to come out of his bed just to give that sacrificial service. The onus lies on you to take your time to at least address that matter genuinely also, and report how that matter has been, all right, genuinely addressed. And if you think that this matter is something that, no, it is wrong, you should also kindly and humbly, simply rebuke that matter by saying, look, well, I'm also an authority in this field, and look at this person, that theory, this author. And, it brings all of us to a level of understanding. Those are the kind of things that you should do when you're addressing reviewers. And I think Prof has mentioned a lot about that, and that's very important for us to note. Let's move to the next slide. Next slide, please. Talking about timelines, just deal with different papers and their different timelines. Again, you can read that in any journal's introduction. Avoid predatory journals, please and please and please. If you and me and the other person begins to consciously avoid some of these journals, you can tell you receive a lot of emails. I'm not going to mention the names of some journals, and I'm not even going to mention country or region, but where a lot of them come from. You receive emails bombarding you. Please, we need just one more paper. And please, can you? No. You see, all those things don't matter. How can you be sending your paper to a journal and within 1 week, they're accepting your paper and telling you come and pay? Look, it is predatory. They are only after your money. Predatory journals are usually a lot after money. Sometimes when you get to the journals and you look at their editorial base, it's so scanty, or it's coming from only one country. All those things do not help academic publishing. So you want to really look away from them. Predatory journals are journals that publish papers without any serious check on the quality of the paper. They don't even do plagiarism, ethical approval, grammar and syntax, knowledge contribution. They are not bothered about all of those things. They just give you come and pay. No, you need to be careful. Don't count yourself as an excellent researcher. An excellent researcher is not defined as somebody that nobody makes comments on his paper. Actually, an excellent researcher is somebody that actually gives room for other people to make comments. That's who an excellent researcher is. You give room for other people to make comments on your paper. Destroy the paper, it will only make you better. I did that during my PhD phase. Professor Evans was one of those that I invited specially to come for my PhD post field defense. There were 5 of them. I printed out my work and I went to give it to them. I said, the reason why I'm giving you is because I want you to come and scatter the work. Don't give it to me in secret. Come out openly. Because I needed to build something for myself. My colleagues were laughing, but today the difference is clear. All right? Make yourself that kind of person. It makes you more serious with your work. They don't have any serious review of your papers. And they're always very emphatic about publication fees. Please don't publish there. You can see some of those predatory. In 2008, Jeffrey Bell was the first person, was about the person that began to blow out this thing really hard. Let's go to the next slide, please. And I'm sharing some links in the next slide with you. Next slide, please. Some links about how to capture some of these predatory journals. You can identify them. Look at their characteristics. Sorry, man. Also, broad scope of topic areas. They publish everything. It's not possible. How can a journal be publishing everything? There's no specialization. It's not possible. Fake names, non-significant researchers listed on the editorial board, disregard of review process, overemphasis on article publishing fee. Please, you can snap this slide to help you. Overemphasis on publishing fee. Fake indexation. They tell you about an impact factor that does not exist. They are quick to publish. Please avoid them. Take your time. Build yourself to be quality. Next slide, ma. So if you go see some of these links, you will find a lot of predatory journals listed in there. All right, and we need to avoid them. Let's move on. So how do you escape publishing in predatory journal? My best route is always patronize established publishers. All right, it helps you to escape easily. Patronize established publishers. Taylor and Francis, Wiley, Sage, Elsevier, Springer, Emerald, and a few others. Of course, MDPI, all right? They are good publishers, and they help you. Like I mentioned earlier, some of these publishers themselves always sieve out journals that are already becoming predatory amongst them. So they delist them. So it helps you to be safe. Let's move on, please. So this is about the last slide, collaborating for publishing and other scholarly works. How did I get to meet Professor Evans, and how did I mean, before the whole, I got into Covenant University as a lecturer in 2013, but before that time, I had known Professor Evans and I'd just been watching him. We lived in the same block. I remember C block then. Amazing family, right? So when I got into the academia as a lecturer, one of the things we heard was follow these professors who are the ones that will help your life. Make sure you are following them. And I called my friend, I said, Marcel, look, I don't have a dream, to be sincere, of becoming a professor. Maybe because I know how much professors earn. So I was seeing my future. I said, Marcel, I want more than this. All right? I want more than this. I said, but if anything happens and God wants me to become a professor, by all means, I said, God, there's a kind of professor I want to be. I am very conscious about the kind of professor I want to be. I said, and these people that I'm looking at, with all due respect, I mean, I'm not mentioning anybody's name. I said, I don't like them. I don't want to be like them. Right? I said, I don't want to be like them. I said, but there's somebody I'm seeing on this campus. If this man is traveling out, he does not pay to travel. His family is traveling. They are not paying. I said, everybody is not on the same level. I said, so Master asked me, who is best? I said, it is Evans. I said, I want to be like, then he was not a professor, he was a doctor. But me too, I saw the future. I said, I like him, and his anointing looks like the anointing I want to carry. So, as though I knew what was happening or what was going to happen down the line, we finished PhD in 2017. I got close to Professor Evans. I was watching him. We were not in the same discipline. I'm in business admin, he's in economics. We could have been doing multidisciplinary research, but I wasn't in a haste to publish with him. I just wanted to keep sucking the words from him. I wanted to build stamina first before jumping into let's start publishing. No, I wasn't about that. All right. I wanted to listen and be built. So I kept following him step by step, stage by stage, opportunity to talk here and there. And then we finished PhD in 2017. By 2018, Professor Evans became he received double promotion. From senior lecturership, he became a professor. I said, Maxwell, I told you that this man carries the anointing I am looking for. Can you see now? And you know, interestingly, a lot of them were promoted at that time. And in our college, every other person was dropped except him. That means he was qualified as a double chief professor, for real. So on and on, that was where we now became more closer. And then he started the SEBDA, all right? I joined as an associate of SEBDA, and watching him closely, listening to him more closely, working together on the same team gave me a lot of stamina. The truth is, there are people that have gone ahead of you and you need to follow them closely. I mean, we've seen a lot of mentees that are just, so far, and they are always about taking advantage of you. Really, it will not help. It won't help. So you have 3 stages of your career life in this academic or research career. You are going to find yourself in the early stage. Some persons have gone beyond that. They are now at the middle stage. Some have gone beyond that. They are at the mature stage. Then you find 3 levels of relationship: the mentors, the peer, and the mentees. I am relating with you from my personal experience. At the early stage, I think that 60% to 70% of your collaborations should be with your mentors. Don't be too eager to be a lead author, because at this early stage, You are a GA, assistant lecturer, or a lecturer 2.
Yeah,
Really, at that
you are
stage,
preaching like a preacher now. You can begin to tell yourself, can take one or two
okay,
questions.
sir.
I know you are the
Okay,
passion is there
sir.
burning you. I can imagine. But
Okay.
can come to this.
I'm
I
just
think
going
this
to
slide
wrap
is
up very quickly.
yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right? Thank you, sir. So at that stage, you really do not want to be a lead author. Only about 40% or 5% of your collaboration should see you becoming a lead author. That helps you. You are focused on really listening and seeking more clarification. You don't really need mentees. I am always surprised. You see every career researcher, I say that, the person I'm trying to build, what are you yourself need to be built up? What are you looking for up and down? All right. So you move to the middle stage, 25% collaboration. 25, because having a mentee can be a lot of distraction. So you don't need that at that stage. 25% collaboration, emphasis on grants and fellowship. Then with your peers, you are now beginning to seek 60% collaboration because now you are developing capacity. You're already an L1, an SL, it's helping you already. Then at the match, then of course you can start talking of mentees. In fact, mentees will start coming to you because now you are supervising MSc and you are supervising PhD. All right, it will start helping you. Then at the mature stage, you think about 5% to 10% collaboration with mentors. So that tells you that there's no stage you should get to where you say you do not need mentors anymore. Every mentor needs a mentor, and that always helps everybody. Then, of course, your peers, you would begin to see 7.5% to 45% collaboration. And then, of course, you are a lot now working with mentees because you need to start developing many more persons. And that's where you find people like our cherished man, Professor Evans, all right, working a lot. So I think this is the last slide. On that note, I want to say thank you. The last slide just says, I'm saying to you, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Please, let's clap our hands for this passionate scholar. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, let's go on to the Q&A. I know our time is spent. Sorry for that. If you don't mind, we'll just take 5 to 10 minutes more. And then let's say in my place, you don't see in test and always. So anytime you see it, you try to look at it very clearly. These kind of persons are not easy to come by. I know Stephen is very busy. Last week he had a conference, and then I know he's very. So let's take the question, please, Vicky. Let's take. Okay, thank you so much. So please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ibidunni. It's been a wonderful section with you. I'm so grateful I'm part of this. I'm part of this series. I mean, hope all of you were with your pen and notepad because I jotted. I even posted some on the comment section. Now back to our comments. So this one is from Ogundele Omobolade Stephen. He says, thank you, Prof. Considering the high cost of publishing in reputable journals, how can we navigate this challenge? Free journals are said to take longer time. Do you want me to state out all the questions and you address them all? Dr. Ibidunni, do you want me to state out all the questions first?
Maybe I should address them one after the other so that we don't get in mixed up, but we'll be very fast.
Okay.
So please, I'll just like to state that don't carry that notion. The truth is that I stopped publishing, I stopped paying to publish in 2018. That was the last time. So 2017 thereabout was the last time I paid to publish. Most of the impact journals or reputable journals do not ask you for money to publish. All right, especially those publishers that I listed, they don't ask you for money. And no, the notion about them taking time is not realistic. Please just get to the journals. The standard time of publishing is within the space of 3 months. That's you get your first review outcome. It's in Nigeria where I hear this language of which journal publish sharp. Please, don't carry that mentality of sharp. You need quality. You need to stabilize. That's what you need. So within 3 months, 4 months, if you're able to address the review comments very quickly, 4 months or 4.5 months, your paper is out and online. So it really always depends on you. So if you don't get your review comments within after 2 months, that's 8 weeks to 10 weeks, you can start writing a gentle mail reminder to the editor to ask, and then they will help you also fast track. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So
And maybe I just tell you that you can publish your paper as closed access. You can publish as closed access. So if you are publishing as closed access, you don't have to pay. It's when you say you want to publish open access that you now have to pay. And that's when you are paying huge amount. But closed access, all my closed access are even giving me the highest citation that I need because they are seeing it all over abroad. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next question is from Obiajulu Okeke. It says, how can we write a good gap and contribution? What are the elements of a good introduction excuse me. What are the elements of a good introduction section suitable for publication in a ranked journal?
That's an entire lecture. That actually I run research workshops, and those two are two 2 hours each workshop that I run when I'm running my workshop, because I have not included it as part of this slide because it is outside of the scope of what I'm supposed to present. But you can identify gaps, through an underexplored area or an unexplored area, or that you're even bringing a completely new perspective on board, or that they are contradicting issues. Underexplored, little is known. Unexplored, COVID-19 brought the entire space of research into an unexplored area. We didn't know anything at all about COVID-19, so it drew us into research, and research is still going on still. So now COVID-19 may have turned to an underexplored area in some spheres, not in all spheres, in some spheres. Then, of course, you can bring new perspectives also into a research area, and where you find contradictions, some persons are finding significant, some are finding insignificant, you can develop, a research gap around that area. And like I mentioned to you, if you read reputable journals, you will find the last section of the paper that is called further research, limitation and future research. You will find that the author is mandated to put gaps in their own research there. So it can serve as a springboard for future researchers. Maybe that's the simplest way to answer the question at this time. Then if you look at this table that is projected right now, it will help you to create a very good gap. All right, major contributions and the finding. When you look at those two sides, you need to look at. So let me just say this very quickly. Let's take, for example, you want to do a research work on household consumption or household sustenance. Go and download like 50 papers from reputable journals. Use this table to outline those 50 papers, paper title 1, 2, 3, 4 to 50. By the time you get their findings and their major contributions, when you go through it, you should be able to create a gap that will help your own research. All right, that's probably the simplest way we can address that.
Thank you very much, sir. The next one is from Olubiton Abiodun. It says, thank you for the eye-opening presentation, sir. Please, how do we identify those journals in the light of too many predatory publishing outlets and international journals? I think he meant the high-impact journals you're talking about. How do we identify them in the light of too many predatory publishing outlets available?
Yeah, it just go to the publishers that I listed, Taylor and Francis, Elsevier. You won't find predatory journals in these places because like I mentioned, the publishers themselves will always scrutinize the journal before they get those journals on board. Taylor and Francis, Elsevier, Springer, Emerald is doing well also. Sir?
Emerald, yes.
Yes, Emerald is doing well also. So, all I think that the slides can be shared with participants freely, once we have the approval of Prof, so that you will go through it again and it's Springer, Sage, very important Sage. So you won't find predatory journals here. And if you still have fears that maybe outside of the scope of these publishers, you are thinking of other publishers, just look at the links I shared on predatory journals. You can find all of them there. Then look at the indexes. They're asking you for money. They're asking you, they don't have good editorial base. Just quickly throw them out. They wouldn't help you much at all. So that will guide you.
Thank you very much, sir. The next one is from Victoria Itseko. It says, what do you do if you submit to a journal and you find out it's not high impact, though they have refused and they keep asking you to resend after you declined over a period of more than 6 months? Did you get that, sir?
No, I didn't, because that part of they have refused, I don't quite understand that part.
Okay, like I think after you submitted the journal, submitted paper to the journal, you found out that the journal is not high impact, but you don't want to proceed, but then they have already reviewed the work. I think that's what I said.
Okay. If I have that I just treated a case like this very recently, and usually we treat cases like this. When you have sent your paper to a journal and you find out that it is not a reputable journal and they have reviewed, send them a mail that you are withdrawing your paper. Look, it's your right. It's your right. It's your paper. We understand that they have taken their time to review the journal. That's if they have reviewed it at all. All right. So you send them a gentle mail. Don't be harsh, because don't forget that they have also put in some effort into the paper. Don't be harsh about it. And simply say that you are withdrawing your paper. You have a right to withdraw your paper as long as they have not, it is not the case that the paper has been reviewed over a time and then they are coming back. You know that that is probably a serious journal. But these other scanty ones, just tell them, sorry, I am withdrawing my paper. That email serves as evidence, so that even if you get to submit that paper somewhere else and this one jump to go and publish your paper, the email you have sent, and I have a personal experience on this, the email you have sent serves as a justification, because you tell them again and again, please pull down my paper. Refuse to pay the money. Do not pay, and tell them, pull down my paper. So in fact, then we get back to you and with tone of anger, and you can actually really pick the anger in their voice. Why didn't you tell us? And then we some of them, I have received a journal that used insulting words on me. But the point is, I told you before you got my paper online that I wasn't interested anymore. But because you thought you would track me by taking it online quickly. No, 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 no. They eventually had to pull down my paper and then it scaled through somewhere else. All right, we treat those matters. But then your email that you have sent to them early enough will serve as evidence with the other people. And then you will be able to scale through by the grace of God.
Thank you very much, sir. I think the key word there is sending them the email early enough.
Early enough, yeah.
Okay, Olubiton Abiodun asked another question. How do we handle a rejection that also bar you from sending another paper to them because of the initial rejection?
Well, this is a very rare situation, because in actual fact, when journals reject your paper, they they are very, very empathetic with you, and they even put words like, we hope this will not deter you from future submissions in our journal. So I really wouldn't know the circumstances that will lead to a journal probably rejecting a paper and telling you you cannot submit again. That's an extremely rare situation. In fact, this is the first time I'm hearing of it. Because Sir?
Even if they say don't submit, there are more than tens of thousands of journals that
Yes.
so don't be
Yes.
tied to somebody that say yeah.
Yeah. That did you hear what Prof said? So you don't actually have to stick to one particular. I mean, there are tons of many other journals that you can send to. If one person is saying shop is closed, I mean, many other shops are open, you know, that you can patronize. So I hope that helps. But I think that to really put your question in another level of perspective, let's be careful on the tone of language we use to editors and to reviewers, so that will not possibly make them blacklist you. Because again, don't forget, nobody's paying a reviewer. So please, we need to be professional. Thank you. Are we still together, please? Was it my network?
No, we can hear you. I can hear from here.
Okay, I'm guessing that Victoria's network went off. So I wouldn't know where exactly she stopped.
Okay,
but
can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Okay, yes, perfectly now, ma. Perfectly. Vic? Okay, I think Dr. Victoria's
Yeah.
network.
It's just a review, but basically I think most of the questions have been answered. Okay, she's back now. Well, I want to stop latest by 5 minutes time so that we take extra 20 minutes. And yeah, thank you so much. Begin. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay. The next question is from Oluwasegun Sholaja. It says, for empirical research, what is the standard on questionnaires self-developed or adapted from previous study? He's saying, what's the standard for questionnaires, whether they're being self-developed or adapted from a previous study? I think that's what this question is.
Okay, thank you. I think this is a very important question for empirical studies. I have seen a lot of questionnaires that are self-developed, but it usually does not follow standard practice at all. If you need to develop a new instrument, it is a whole lot of work, because that new instrument will need to go through, you know, several validity checks, and it can be a whole lot of work. So you will find that most often we simply adapt, including very top ranked researchers, simply go with adapting, all right? Because it helps you to simplify the work a lot. Self-develop will need to be tested across many phases, sometimes many phases. Let's just put it as simplified as that, many phases, and you will need to carry out a whole lot of phases of construct validity checks on the questionnaire before it can be well accepted. But to get your job easy, I usually advise my students and myself, all right, to look at, you see, reputable journals, again, always tell you to report your questionnaire, whether within the content of your work or somewhere at the end of your work. So within the content of your work, you would have used it for your construct validity. You are reporting where you adapted the questionnaire from, and you yourself will go ahead to perform another set of construct validity checks on that instrument that has been validated by somebody else, but you're adapting from, to ensure that we can still verify that the instrument is usable within your content, both context, both for reliability and for validity. All right. And that usually helps to just put your work in perspective. You continue, you could do an exploratory factor analysis or a confirmatory factor analysis on your instrument, and then the discriminants and convergent checks will also be done. So all of those things are methodological issues. All right. So I will advise that you just adapt.
Thank you very
Okay,
much, sir.
I
The next
think
question is from
okay.
Obiajulu Okeke again. It says, what's the acceptable sample size for micro or macro data for high impact journals?
I think that Prof will be in a better position to answer that question. The only thing I can say is, of course, robust data is always very appreciated. Robust data. I'm currently doing a work with some colleagues from Nottingham Trent University, and we are using a sample of about 1,500 robust data. But again, I've done a whole lot of work of around 370 something and all of those. So that's not for a macro, all right, level work anyway. It's a firm level analysis. So, robust data is usually appreciated. And if it is for qualitative, you could also have robust data for qualitative, 60 responses. If you do 60 responses for a qualitative data, even you know the kind of work you would have done. And then people always, reviewers always appreciate that a lot. But I think that typically I will allow Prof speak more to that area for the sake of the macro especially.
Say, for example, if I'm talking about VCs, Nigerian universities, and their management skill, no, I think currently about 260 universities. If I can interview, let's say 40, 50, that could be robust because that sample I'm taking has covered almost half of the population. Okay, but if I'm talking about number of school teachers in Ogun State, so in the population is very wide. So it's about the sample being able to represent the population on the matter. So there's no hard and fast rule about the number, but it's about representativeness. I think there are some scientific ways we can calculate for sample size that is sample size. So basically, there's no, one, if whether it's a quantitative or qualitative, the size will vary, and the two, the size should be able to represent the population that matters you are looking at. So that is also what should guide you. So the number itself is not uh, it's not in itself exclusive. It's a reflection of the population that you are looking at. For example, I did a work on rice farmers in Ogun State. One was just to talk about those who are into rice farmers and work with the, the association, and I focus on the quantitative research. So I interviewed mainly on the farmers, not the farmers, on those who are the executive members, and that's key true. So the number is not exclusive. It's a reflection of the population, and the two, the what you are dealing with per se per time that matters. So it's not hard and fast rules, about being able to represent your sample, being able to represent the population you are dealing with. Okay, I think we should be almost good to go now.
Question. This is the final question, sir.
Okay.
It says, Dr. Ibidunni said that hypothesis is very important. Is it that all research work must be tested, especially when publishing in a reputable journal? This is by Osabuohien Wamaka.
Well, if we are not testing anything, that's if you are doing an empirical study, all right? Apart from the empirical study, you may want to be writing a theoretical paper, which I must confess is a very difficult path to toe. Is a very difficult path to toe. I have seen a lot of theoretical paper, or some people call it empirical. What's it called? Conceptual paper. I said, look, you are not conceptualizing nothing in this paper. Conceptual papers and theoretical papers can be a lot more difficult to write than empirical papers. They take a lot of time. The other thing you may want to do is a systematic review. My systematic review paper recently got published in 2021, I think, 2021. And that was about after 3 or 4 years, of the paper going back and forth with a lot of reviews and everything. So it took that long. So there can be a lot more difficult to write than even the empirical papers. But when you find somebody doing an empirical paper and you really cannot trace an hypothesis, then you are seeing the analysis. The question will be, what exactly are you analyzing when we cannot, we do not understand the relationships you have set out to analyze? Because you are going to do a discussion. So if there's no hypothesis and then you have the analysis, then what are you going to discuss? Because we don't understand the relationships that is being discussed. So it's very important for it to be there and developed also. That's very, very important. Every reputable journal will be looking out for that. But I think I can see a question from Rashidat. If you allow me.
I was about to tell you that I spoke too early, that there's a final question.
Okay.
All right. So
we retrieve an article that's taken like a year in a particular journal and submit another journal if there's no response. Yes, you can retrieve your article even if it has taken a year. But please, before retrieving, make sure you send an email to the editor and let's get a response from the editor. It is when you send the email and the editor is not responding. I'll give myself as a typical example. This one that has stayed for almost a year now, I submitted in January, and up till now, I've not even gotten the first review. I sent the first email to the editor 2 months ago. The editor didn't see anything. He didn't reply. And truth be told, I also forgot because I had worked on so many projects submitted and I was still working. So I didn't remember until last month, this month, when I suddenly remembered this paper again. I said, what is happening here? And so I sent the guy another email. It was this time he now replied after about a week, you know, and apologized and then explained the situation to me. And I really appreciated that. And I also told him that I do understand the difficulty of getting reviewers. For I am also an associate editor myself, but please just help put more intense effort into this. And then the guy replied back, thank you so much for understanding. I really do appreciate. Please, we will carry you along. You know, for me, that's communication, and that's the proper way of doing. And really, I target publishing in that journal anyway. But so you can, the point is you can retrieve it, but please let there be established communication to avoid conflict of interest issues. Thank you.
Online submission portal platform, you can actually log in there, and there's a most of them have a window for withdraw your paper, so you can go there and withdraw your paper. Most of the online journals have that now. Okay, I think I've gone full cycle. I don't want to take longer time than this. Once again, let's appreciate our guests today. It's been a wonderful session, and I'm sorry that we took extra time. I think it's a very wonderful topic that we didn't want to let go like this, as many of us have enjoyed it. And secondly, it's on live on YouTube. So immediately after now, please send anything you wait till tomorrow. Just can replay it on YouTube. It's for free. And once again, thank you so much. Just to conclude that as the exercise on this topic will be on shortly. So let's join that. And Stephen, I talk about the issue of mentorship because it's last slide. Let's focus on our various teams, subgroups, and begin to work, whether as a mentee, as peers, as all of that. So I can put to work. We go to ahead. Even Jesus Christ said, "Blessed are ye if you either hear this and do it." So the power is in doing. Knowledge without application cannot result to celebration. Let's sure we work together. It's a network we are building, and I'm happy that we are having results shortly, and we want to keep having it. Once again, for the sake of time, we want to close right away. And by God's grace, hope to see you in our next series. That will be episode 4. I think Stephen touched some part of it. Episode 4 is on collaboration and partnership in building successful career. And I'm bringing one of our DIaDeRC advisory board member, who is a young lady doing a lot of exploits. I don't know the call her name now, but it's on our platform. You click on this link, you will see the young developers how we can leverage our social media platform to maximize our visibility and then collaboration and network. And just to make sure that what Stephen said about you can publish on closed access, yes, but you can also put on other platforms like ResearchGate, Academia, Google Scholar, that even though it's closed access, people can see access to it. And those who want to read it will email you and ask for the full paper, which you can send to them. And then by so doing, we publish the closed access for free, and then you're also getting the visibility you require. Once again, thank you so much for your being here today, and we appreciate your time. Stephen, we can't thank you enough. Thank you,
Thank you
sir,
so much.
for people like you. I had to
It's
give us,
always
so
an honor.
we appreciate you, sir. Okay, if you
Thank
don't
you.
mind, I want to say thank you so much, everybody, for your time. Staying along with us, this about we conquered. There was a little issue on network, but thank God we conquered, and now we have a nice time. So once again, the recorded session is on YouTube. Let's go through it and then mathematics. So see you again, God willing, 2 weeks from today, same time, 7 p.m. Lagos time on Sunday, 12th of November 2023, where we'll talk about the episode 4 on collaboration and partnership in building successful career. Whether you're in academia, you're in the industry, you're in a NGO, you need to know how to build a collaboration so you can build your network. Like we said again, your network is very crucial to your net worth. Once again, thanks so much, and we learn more again that research can be very interesting and rewarding. Once again, God bless you. Enjoy the rest of the week, and see you again same time next 2 weeks, 12th of November, 7 p.m. Lagos time. Stay blessed. Stay tuned. God bless you. Any question, you can always reach out to us on our DIaDeRC center@gmail.com or my email. Check us on our website. God bless you. Bye bye. All right. Good night. Thanks so much. I will
Good
stop
night, sir.
sharing now. Yeah, I will stop sharing now. I will stop the live transmission. Yeah, bye bye. Good night, everybody. But if you have any question, you can always reach out.